Today we're going to talk about long-term care insurance, and I have with me today Tom Kalika, who is actually from Texas. He's been in the long-term care insurance industry for over 25 years. What is long-term care?
Long-term care is a spectrum of services that could be delivered personally. It could be facility services for an individual that would lose their independence because of an illness or injury. Care that is on an ongoing basis, mostly in physical, would be help with our activities of daily living. The activities of daily living are 6, and usually how they start declining is number 1 would be help with bathing, dressing, feeding, toileting, becoming incontinent, or help with transferring. The definition for tax-qualified long-term care insurance is that a healthcare professional writes a prescription that certifies that care would be expected to last at least 90 days or more in performing 2 out of the 6 activities of daily living. Another trigger for long-term care is not physical, but it's cognitive. The diminishing of the intellectual capacity, such as senility, dementia, Alzheimer's disease, puts a person in danger of themselves and others to be home alone without supervision.
Now, a lot of people, from my understanding, think that Medicare will pay for long-term care. Is that so?
That is an erroneous belief, and unfortunately a lot of people are running with that idea. What I'd like to do is not only talk about Medicare in this section, but also talk about major medical, because they're sort of one and the same. Major medical is for acute care, hospitalization, doctor services for something that's broken. It also has a provision for what's called subacute care. That is, after a hospital stay, a person would go down to skilled rehab for physical therapy, and that's called skilled nursing care. Medicare and major medical insurance allow for a very short duration for that skilled rehab. It does require that they enter the skilled rehab within 30 days and have been in the hospital prior to for the condition that they're receiving the physical therapy for. And now addressing Medicare, the Medicare benefit is they will pay 100% for the first 20 days and all but $137.50 for the next 80 days. So the patient's responsibility is for, after the 20 days, the $137.50
Per day.
Per day.
Per day.
And if they own a Medicare supplement plan, which most likely they do for people over the age of 65, that is called a co-payment, and the Medicare supplement plan will pick up those charges. Major medical usually and most often will pay for 90 days of skilled nursing care. And so after the 90 days of skilled rehab, the major medical policy is no longer responsible for the claim.
But I just want to clarify that it's only if they need a skilled service. So if there's no skill needed, then their major medical or Medicare, if that is their major medical, will no longer pay.
Exactly. And skilled care is where they are a licensed skilled professional, RN, LVN, LPN, physical, speech, occupational therapist. They come in and they perform their service. Once the level of care drops to the next one, which is intermediate, that means that the nurse is not necessarily a skilled professional, but under the supervision of a skilled professional. And once that occurs, the major medical and the Medicare supplement combination are not responsible for that care. Then the third level of care is the largest area of long-term care, which is custodial care. Custodial care is usually an informal caregiver, a person that could be working for a home health care agency or an independent individual that is willing to be a caregiver in performing the basic activities of daily living. Somebody to come in and help with bathing, dressing, transferring.
That would be in the home, but if they're in assisted living or in a nursing home, it could be either a resident assistant or a nursing assistant, correct?
That is correct.
But long-term care insurance can cover care in any of those settings, right? The home, the assisted living, or nursing home.
What's nice about long-term care insurance is that you have options. You pick a dollar amount that you would like to have to leverage in your care in the future, and you would be able to use those dollars in any setting. It would be for home health care, it would be for assisted living facility care, it will be for nursing home care. In the Southeast, the average cost of care is running anywhere between $5,000 a month to $6,000 per month.
And that's for all realms, I guess?
Yeah, let's look at how it's relative. If I'm at home, I'm going to try to stay at home as long as possible. So with the average cost of home health care for non-skilled at about $18 an hour, I'm going to try to stay home as long as possible, so I may be hitting the $5,000 mark. Maybe not right at the beginning. Maybe my spouse is helping me, doing some of the care, lifting some of the burden, but it eventually could get to that point. So that's where it could be a relative cost. You can reach your $5,000 to $6,000 max at home, and even go beyond that. Assisted living facilities are two costs. First cost is the room and board charges. And there are a variance of levels of facilities that you can spend your dollars on that could start anywhere at $2,000 to $3,000 a month here, and as high as $5,000 a month. It depends on the square footage of your apartment, what your view is, the location. So again, relative, you can spend up to your monthly benefit that you're shooting for. A nursing home is where it becomes intensive. So the equipment that's involved, the skill of the individuals providing the care is required to be more skilled. The relative amount is averaging $5,000 to $6,000. So it can always be less, and it could very easily be more. But all we can do is work off of what the average cost of care is.
When we come back, Tom's going to talk about what to look for when you're going to buy a long-term care insurance policy. And those are the questions that I get asked the most. So stay right there. We'll be back, and you'll learn so much more about long-term care insurance and what to look for.